Well, hello, and hope that you are having a great day. Let me make a small adjustment. This is strictly for Patreon supporters and you guys only. A couple of things that I'm going to go over with you. The legal crap. This may depict or contain depictions of tobacco products, alcohol, and vile, foul language in some places, although I sincerely doubt it. Some people, a few people who have been fans of the Mountain Mysteries have been wondering if this is going to continue after we all lost Trevor Huff. That was a tough one to take. So let me kind of explain what I was thinking or what I wasn't thinking, or whatever you want to say, and kind of what changed some things, okay? It's no big secret that I lost my mom and dad in 2019, 33 days apart. Yeah. Well, you know what? I ain't got a monopoly on grief, and I damn sure don't have one on pain. And I freaking get that. This shit's never been about attention. It's been about inspiring hope and remembering people. The video was about promoting the podcast. The actual podcast itself is not the video. The video is about promoting the podcast, okay? But in that video, I hoped to inspire hope, like Trevor did me. And he did. And still does. We'll get to that in a minute. So it's, I guess it's around March 14th or 15th. I get this email from somebody I don't know. Comes from YouTube. Which, hell, I ain't even got half the issue or the post up there, because I had people before that was doing it, or that said they were doing it, and they weren't doing it. So I got a lot of catch-up work to do and all that. But it's okay, because I now do this full-time for a living. This is one of the things that I do for a living, full-time, and taking care of my brother, which is an honor and a privilege, and doing this for the people that do watch, which, again, is an honor and a privilege. I noticed we've had several cancellations on the Patreon. I do watch that. I paused it in February, not to bill anybody, and thought that it would be paused until I unpaused it, if I unpaused it. But apparently not, because Patreon, well, those sons of bitches are like most other companies in the world. They're greedy as hell. They don't care about much else. I'm sorry, but I know this is only one, and trust me, it takes 5 or 6 to get me going. In the words of Vin Diesel, you can have any kind you want as long as it's Corona. So anyways, this is around March 14th or 15th. I get this email from YouTube, of all places, where we don't even have half of the episodes that we've done posted up there yet. That's coming over the course of the next few weeks. It takes time. But I'm going to read this to you, and this really got me to rethinking my decision to just shut it down. The individual is named Tara, and I'm going to read this to you verbatim. I only discovered you on Stitcher today, and I've spent the whole day listening. I was very disappointed to see August was the last episode on Stitcher. Tara, if you're watching this, the reason that was because we switched platforms from Zencast to Anchor. Anchor has more benefits. They are great to work with. And they're a little bit easier to work with, actually. And I'm not knocking Zencast, but Anchor costs nothing a month. And right now, this podcast is not making what it was only a few months ago. And we'll get into that. But anyways, she said, finally tracked you down on here. I was devastated to think that you might not be uploading your fantastic stories anymore. The quality of your production is second to none. I just wanted to ask if you'd be continuing in this task, and that if you do it all possible, please put them also on Stitcher. I'm sorry for putting this comment on here, given the sensitivity of your message, but wasn't sure of how else to contact you. I don't do Facebook, and I live outside of the United States. Don't even live in the country. I really hope all is well with you and your colleagues. Tara, we love you, and thank you very much for that. That was very sweet and very kind. And if you'll see this at some point, because I'm going to put this on YouTube, but if you see this at some point, Tara, know that you are the reason, though, why we do this, the people that appreciate it. You can support us on Patreon. Anybody can support us on Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Every nickel helps. And, the mountainmysteriespodcast.com has a ton of clothing. And that brings me to my next person. I'm just going to say her name is Melissa. You see, anytime somebody buys a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, a dog collar, anything, it don't matter what it is, then the people at the website hosting send me a notification that says, hey, Jane Doe has purchased these shirts. They've done this, they've done that. And I'm grateful for every single thing because, no, we're not making much money off the shirts or anything else on the store. But like I said, every little bit helps. This is about getting the mountain mysteries out there and getting the stories of the people out there. So let me cut to the quick and the short of it. Tara, Melissa, and a few very, very people close to me have changed my mind. People like Amanda, people like Angie, and there's one in specific, Trevor Huff. At the time that he passed, he was dating a girl who has become a friend. Her name is Janine. And she wrote something in the comments, and she said, Trevor would want you to continue this. Because Trevor loved this thing. He didn't just listen on occasion. He listened every Friday when the episodes dropped. He was always there, and I would always call him and ask for advice. What do you think it sounded like? How could it be better? And his only real advice to me was this. He said, it sounds good, but quit reading from the damn script. He said, I know you wrote the script, but quit reading from it. He said, maybe not everybody else can tell, but I can. Bring it from your heart. Bring it from your soul. He said, that's what's going to make it a hit. He said, it's already doing great. Yeah, but he said, how many countries around the world are listening to you? Anchor has that ability to tell me. And there's like 35 countries. Excuse me. And he said, yeah. He said, and how many people in each country? Well, all it gives you is a percentage. And, of course, the majority of the percentages is in the USA. But there are people elsewhere listening. Germany, the Czech Republic, Tahiti, the Caribbean. There's people all over the world that watch this thing and listen to it. He said, he laughed. He said, damn, you're going to be as popular as Dan Rather. And I said, I'd rather not. It's not about me. I'm just the storyteller. I'm the guy behind the curtain pulling the magic strings and all this crap. And now I'm on my own with it. And that's okay with me. I've got no problem with that. But he was a big inspiration in making me continue this. There's an episode out there that's episode number 43, and I believe it's called Tears of the Angels. And that thing runs about 2 hours long. But trust me, if it brings tears to your eyes, and I know it has several people's, you should have been the one doing it. Talking about your brother that you just lost. A man that meant as much to you as your parents. A man that you've got nearly 3 decades of memories with. And none of them bad. I couldn't think of a one that was bad, except the hard times we went through, that stuff, yeah. But even then, we went through them together. So, yeah. I could have went on for 10 hours about that. But, as it is, we all have to sleep at some point. So, yeah, that episode is the longest one we've ever done. The longest one that I've ever done. And it is from the heart. I think there was 3 or 4 sentences that I was scripted, and I liked the way they sounded. I liked the way they went. And then as I was scripting it, it hit me what Trevor said. From the heart. Don't read from the script. Make you some bullet points or something to keep you on track. Yeah, but don't read from the script. So I didn't. Maybe that's why it went 2 hours. So here's the skinny of things, as it were. The Mountain Mysteries will continue. It will continue weekly because I got out of the radio gig and I plan to never go back to it. At least not around here. Come to think of it, I don't plan to go back to it at all. Radio, the way it was when I was in it years and years ago, isn't radio the way it is today. They're hurting. And it's my honest opinion. And I'm not just talking about one station. I'm talking about stations all over the continent. All over the North American continent. They're all struggling. And it's because they've not figured out how to adapt to change, I think, in some cases, in many cases. Whether it be New York or LA or wherever it's at. When you don't give the people what they want. Yeah. And am I saying I am giving the people what they want? Well, obviously, there's 30-some countries watching this damn thing and listening to it and remembering these people, these individuals, these human beings that we talk about. Now, is this podcast for everyone? I was going to say no, but maybe to some degree. So here's what I'm asking for you. Support us. Share us. I'm not interested. I'm figuring out a way right now to kill the likes and all that crap on Facebook. Facebook is nothing more than a social media tool to get it out there. But what I do want is for people to share it. Don't like it, share it. That means more to me than anything. I don't want to see the little hearts and the little thumbs up. The comments are nice and I appreciate them. But if you want to send me comments, send them to me directly. And I'll put them to use, like suggestions. Hey, would you do an episode on this person? Or would you do an episode on this experience with, just for example, when the UFO and the train collided in Painesville? Or would you do an episode on Bigfoot? Or would you do an episode on Dickford? Listen to episode 43, you'll get the joke. That was Trevor Huff. Would you do an episode on this or that? And, could you turn the music down a little bit here, a little bit there, or maybe bring it up a little bit here, a little bit there? I pay attention to those things. I'm never I'm never against constructive criticism. I'm all for it. It can only help me be better. Am I the know-all, end-all, be-all of this thing? No, but I do have the final say-so in it. And if it is not what I feel is the best that I can do at that particular moment, given whatever circumstances I'm in, then it will not be released. Now, it is currently, at the time of this recording, 10 minutes after 5 o'clock. Patreon people have just got episode 44. And it's called In the Name of All That's Holy. And there's parts of it that are downright freaky. And there's parts of it that are maybe, you're going to scratch your head going, what happened? But that's what the Mountain Mysteries are. If you know somebody, get them in contact with me that would like an episode on a family member, a loved one, a friend, or it can just be a curiosity's sake. Is Bigfoot real? Well, after being in the North Georgia mountains with Trevor, not at the Two Wheels of Such as a motorcycle campground, there was knocking going on in them damn trees, and I'm telling you, it was intelligent. It almost sounded like Morse code. Even after he laughed at me for a good 15 or 20 minutes, there was something going on there. So, the Mountain Mysteries will continue. Damn Skippy. Now, will it be the best podcast out there? Look, I'm not Joe Rogan or whoever he is, and I don't claim to be. I'm Chris Sloan. I'm not trying to be anybody but me. But I can tell you that most of them are going to be unscripted. And that's in honor of Trevor. And if you'll look at the bottom of the show notes on each episode, it says, in loving memory of April Pennington. And they all will be. I cared about April. I do care about April. Coming up May, 31 years. She's been gone. But now it's also dedicated to the endearing memory of Trevor Huff. What a lot of people didn't get, and maybe they didn't listen to it or whatever, but a lot of the music, not all of it, but a lot of it that I use in the Mountain Mysteries was created by Trevor Huff. Yeah, the Trevor Huff that lives in Knott County, Kentucky, or that lived in Knott County, Kentucky. The Trevor Huff that was on WKCB, the Killer Bee. The Trevor Huff that was my brother. The Trevor Huff that I rode Harleys with. The Trevor Huff that I loved. And still love. So yeah, these are going to be a little more passionate. Some of it's not going to be for kids at all. And by kids, that's up to you. But I would say anybody, if your kids are sheltered enough to be 18 years old and never heard the word bastard, then congratulations on that one. I heard that a dozen times a day and not directed at me. But by the time I was 5 years old, I had an idea of what it was. But, the lawyer, my buddy, likes it when I give disclaimers. The following may be, you've heard the whole ball and wax, though, the whole dog and pony show. But the mountain mysteries will continue. And I'm going to take up just a few more seconds of your time and let you know that there is a video tribute. We're coming back to the videos, the gatherings. That name's not going to change. You may see the logo change a little bit, providing, my daughter works a very hectic schedule. And I pretty much refuse to use anybody but her because she is that good. And she's my baby girl. But I'm going to see if she can make a few changes to it. And it's very minor changes, but you will notice them. Oh, yes, you will. But the Gatherings is coming back. And they will be live. Some may be pre-recorded for whatever reason, but they will be mostly live. But there is going to be a video tribute to Trevor Huff coming up in the next couple of weeks. You see, after 3 decades of knowing and loving the guy like he's my brother, I finally, this Saturday coming, get to meet his parents, Ken and Marlene. And I get what I hope is a big hug from Mom and a big, strong handshake from Dad. And I want to thank them for raising a man that changed my life and the lives of so many other people. And I want to get some more inside stories. And I want to tell them what I plan to do with the video. And that I would like for them to give me information about how he was when he grew up. And, he told me some stories. But to get it from the perspective of Mom and Dad, man, that's entirely different. That's awesome. And to get to finally meet them. And I don't know why we never did. I don't know why I never did get to meet them. It just didn't happen for one reason or another. Trev was a very busy person. And so am I. You see, Trevor had a purpose in his life. And that's something a lot of people sorely miss. I looked for 48 years for mine and I found it. Turns out it's doing exactly what I'm doing right now. That and taking care of my brother. Not necessarily in that order. I think I'm my brother's keeper before I'm anything. And I'm a dad. But I'm my brother's keeper too. And I also do this to tell you about the stories of these people that you may or may not know. But you will know their names. You will know what we are told happened to them. And if I could just ask you, just to please share it. And there's places on Facebook, on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, on Stitcher, which we are now back on Stitcher. All the episodes are current. But there's places on there that will allow you to share it. It just says share, copy link, put it on your Facebook page, send it, or just share. And if you can support us on Patreon or Spotify, I'm getting ready. I dropped the video. I canceled the video service. I'm going to pick it back up. And I'm going to do that probably this evening. That's what Trevor would want, I think. I'm sure that's what April would want. Dwayne, Merrill. And I know it's what some of the people that are closest to me that are still here with me want and say I should do. One told me last night, she said, only you can decide what's right for you. I know this takes a toll on you, and yeah, it does, but they're worth it. They are so worth it. I will release this video on YouTube later on Facebook, but I wanted to thank this person named Tara for taking the time and reaching out on YouTube, and for all the other messages and for all the other everything that I've received saying, hey, you really need to continue this. And there's one guy out there I want to give a big shout out to. His name's Sean Beckett. His sister and I are very good friends. She's one of my best friends in this world. But Sean listens religiously to this thing. And his sister had told me, my Lord, if you drop this thing, he's going to go crazy. Don't quit doing it. Okay. These things make sense to me. There's more than enough reason to keep going. Can I guarantee perfection? Hell no. But I'll guarantee you every one of them will have everything I've got to give. So with that being said, I will be posting when the videos will happen. And please, no likes, no share, or no likes, no hearts, no thumbs up. I don't want any of that. What I want, that does us no good. That this is not about feeding my ego. But if you will, would you please consider sharing it? Instead of the thumbs up and the hearts and all that, just share it. That's what's going to do us more good than anything. Right now, it's estimated that we are, or were, in the top 5%. That's not good enough for me. I want more. I want better. I want their stories out there. I want their stories told. I'll see you soon, but until I do, all episodes are dedicated to the endearing memories of April, Renee Pennington, and Trevor Huff. I'm Chris. Stay mysterious.